what is the big news with Autodesk, with CAM 360, with Autodesk 360? What's going on? How is CAM in manufacturing changing, and what is Autodesk doing?
Sure. Well, for us, I was part of HSM Works prior to the acquisition by Autodesk. When we came into Autodesk, we developed an Autodesk CAM team, and that was really designed to continue developing our CAM solution, HSM Works and HSM Express for SolidWorks, introduce our CAM technology to the Inventor platform, Inventor and Inventor LT, and then we just released Inventor HSM Express, I guess it was about a couple weeks ago, and then here we launched CAM 360, which is integrated CAM for A360, if you want to think about it like that. So we have Fusion 360, Sim 360, and CAM 360. And the way that we've really talked about it during Autodesk University this year is that it's either the period or the exclamation mark on design and manufacturing in the cloud. So a lot of people were speculating about it, and they were right. I think on a couple forums we talked about it would be an early Christmas for some folks that were looking for this cloud-based solution. So now, the way that CAM, I think, is going to change, obviously for us internally at Autodesk over the next year, we're going to be bringing our Inventor HSM offering and our CAM 360 offering up to parity with HSM Works, which is really our flagship product right now. And as for the industry, I think you're going to continue to see wide adoption of integrated CAM. I think it's going to begin to, at a more rapid rate, begin to replace a lot of the standalone applications because the integrated solutions are maturing very quickly, especially over the last couple of years. And then I think you're going to see companies begin to identify and recognize the value that the cloud can bring to them. It's going to be different for different types of users and different types of companies, how they're going to be able to take advantage of the cloud or leverage the cloud. And so our focus in the CAM team is to begin to develop the cloud-based CAM technology and then spread that back across the desktop solution. So we're continuing to build the core of our CAM and push that to the Inventor and CAM 360 users, and then we'll take our cloud technology and we'll push that across to the desktop solutions as well.
An early Christmas present for some. Why do people in manufacturing on the shop floor need the collaboration? And
sure.
I'm going to be kind of an ass about this. I know why from engineering and being involved in
right,
that.
Yeah.
It's the hardest thing to be able to communicate with people on the shop floor.
Right.
But why now? Why do they need the collaboration?
Well, I think you can't separate CAM from the process of design and manufacturing. So we'll just take simulation out for a second. And the reason I want to take it out for a second is because it's sort of like PDM. In my opinion, everybody should integrate PDM and simulation into the process, but some people don't. I mean, some people just don't necessarily recognize the value of the technology, and primarily because they're not familiar with what the technology offers or what it is. So if we just talk about design and manufacturing, CAM is all about putting toolpaths on models and assemblies, so you can't separate them. So what the collaboration tools do in A360 is it allows the designers and engineers and other CNC programmers to quickly access not only the modeling data, but provide feedback, instant notifications. People have questions. Right now people have to do that with email, they have to do it with the phone. And A360, not just for Fusion 360 and Sim 360, but now Fusion 360 and CAM 360 users, they have instant access to one another. And taking it out further, you not only have instant access via the A360, but you can run it on Windows or on Mac. We don't have Mac version yet for CAM 360. We're coming out initially with the Windows version, but it's about accessing the information and the feedback and the collaboration anytime, anywhere. And of course, you have the benefits of data storage and stuff on the cloud. So you get all those other ancillary benefits, but for CAM users, I'll tell you what, I don't think it's necessarily that collaboration is the big deal. I'll tell you what the big deal is. CNC programmers and anybody that has to do CNC programming, like designers and engineers, whether they know it yet or not, you have to do things like adding features and defeaturing parts. It's one of the reasons why Space Claim, you'll notice originally when they came out, and this is just my personal observation, but I think they came out of the gate and you saw them really try to go after folks like SolidWorks, or applications like SolidWorks and Inventor, and say this is a better way to model. And people love direct modeling, they think it's awesome. But over time, and for whatever reason, you saw their messaging sort of shift, not completely, but they began to focus more on, hey, Space Claim is a phenomenal tool for CNC programming. Now, why did they say that? Well, it's because you could quickly take and add features and defeature models with Space Claim. I mean, it was awesome. So when Fusion came around, it's like, wait a second. Now we've got this cloud-based direct modeling tool. So for CNC programmers, it was like, hurry up and get the CAM done so that we can take advantage of all this Fusion modeling and patching and sculpting capabilities. And that's where the revolution is going to happen, because it's not just integrated CAM, which is important. It makes CAM accessible to the broadest range of users. It gives people a comfort level, but there is a real benefit in those modeling tools that maybe aren't as easily accessible unless you are a pro with SolidWorks or for Inventor. So that's where I see the real value, and I think that's where the revolution is going to take place.
Are they ready for it?
It depends who you ask. Yes, I mean, we have Fusion users that are clamoring to get their hands on this.
Fusion users, so like, I
Yeah.
picture Fusion as really heavy on the industrial design side.
Right.
Not so much on the engineering side.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Further from manufacturing. So
Sure. Industrial designers, they're very involved in additive manufacturing. So they're printing out, they're making 3D prints of their designs to communicate the designs internally and externally with customers. So one of the big initiatives that we have here at Autodesk is something that we call 3DP and CNC, or 3DP plus CNC. And the reason why is that a lot of people, especially in the design and engineering community, they don't think about it, but CNC machining is a perfect complement to 3D printing. In fact, we've been showing parts at this particular conference where it would be much easier, quicker, and cheaper to machine a prototype than it would be to print. And then, of course, we're also showing parts that are naturally parts that you would want to print. So I think you have this melding. Autodesk is all about creating tools that help users design and create and produce these digital designs, these digital prototypes. So for folks that are at least prototypers, if you just want to take one group of people that want to quickly or rapidly turn their designs into a physical component that they can use for communication purposes or analysis purposes, even destructive analysis, you're going to bring in machining parts, because machining, you can machine metal, wood, plastics. So as you see the versatility of 3D printing expand and the costs coming down and the ease of use, you have that same versatility on CNC machining. So we believe the two technologies complement one another. And CAM, it's one thing to print out a part, but we want to make it just as easy for a user that wants to machine a part to do that with the CAM software as it is to almost print a 3D part. So I think that's where you're going to start seeing a lot of people jumping on CAM 360 to say, wow, this is great. Because really the whole philosophy behind CAM 360 is a new approach to CAM. It's less about the tool as it is what you want to do with the tool. And I think that's the beauty of Fusion 360 and Sim 360. It's not about the tool. You almost don't care what the tool is called. It's that you just want to make something, you want to design something, you want to simulate something. You don't care what it's called or who you're buying it from. You just want to do it. And I think that is there's a whole culture of users out there. You see it with Gmail and all the Google tools, and you see it, obviously Microsoft followed. They looked and they were, there was Office on desktop, and then finally there's Office on the cloud. Well, why? It's because users don't care that it's Microsoft or Google. They just want an easy to use, experience that's cost effective for what they're doing. So I think you have wiser consumers of technology now, and every year as more people get exposed to technology, kids, they go to middle school, they have CNC machines, MakerBot, ShopBot, all those companies that are developing desktop and benchtop solutions, and they're in the $1,000 price range to $5,000 price range. I think you're going to see those users are going to demand this type of technology. People that are using desktop technology right now, I think they're going to say, you know what, when you see somebody who has no machining experience or no formal training producing these incredible designs and incredible assemblies and footwear and automotive, electronic devices, all these Kickstarter projects, and they're like, it would take me 3 months to do what this 20-year-old just did in 3 weeks. There's got to be something to the technology, because it's this guy's got no experience. He just learned it on the fly, and so I think that's what's going to happen. It's going to make producing things much more accessible. So, yeah.
This is more on the web side of things and how everything is working with the increased 360 product.
Yeah.
You have the Autodesk 360 side, you have the Fusion 360 side.
Right.
I don't know if there's cam360.autodesk.com.
There will be.
So there will be. So there'll be another subdomain. Is there going to be another client download, or I'm a Fusion 360 user.
Right.
Can I go ahead and keep using Fusion 360, or do I have to download and install?
Well, initially the way the Cam 360 is being delivered is that on December the 16th, along with a lot of the other betas that were announced, and I don't know how many of them have been announced, but a number of additional Fusion enhancements and other products have been released here at Autodesk University. So Cam 360 is going to be one of those first 360 beta products. There's a beta infrastructure that's been developed for that. So Cam 360 also functions independently of Fusion. It also includes basic Fusion functionality for modeling, patching, and sculpting. So users don't have to have the Fusion entitlement, if you will. They're just going to download the streamer of Cam 360. Now, if you have both on a production level, in 2014 when we released a production release of Cam 360 Express initially, then if you have Fusion 360 and you have Cam 360, the two will work together, just like Sim 360. So over time, you're going to start seeing the deployment, I think, become more streamlined. Initially, just out of necessity, we're trying to keep the actual streamers and the technology sort of segregated in the way that you access it, because we're also developing a lot of content, like how we want to make it easier for users to access. We want to make it easier for people to use the technology. So we're really trying to find out what each of those different types of users is looking for and then bring it all together. So as the technology itself is maturing, I think our understanding of how people want to access the technology and how they're going to use it is also maturing at the same time. So a year from now, 2 years from now, I think it's going to be it's incredibly transparent, seamless experience. I know that's what we're developing for.
A production of EBD Media.